realized I left out a couple of out of body experiences from my listing of out of body experiences. So I'm gonna just go back to that because I've been thinking about them. So I want to say when I was like 14, 15, maybe 13, I don't know. I don't remember exactly how old I was. I just know I was in middle school. And like I was learning to ride a bike. Now, I mentioned in a previous video um, that I learned to ride a bike because like my uncle explained it in like this really scientific way, and for some reason my brain just like, okay, logic, implant, I know how to do it now. Just downloaded the freaking information as if I was a computer, and all you had to do was just be like, oh, here is the exact physics on how it works, and yeah, that okay, that makes sense. Which is funny because I'm terrible at physics. Anyways, that's not the point of the story. Um, I was riding like after I finally figured out how to ride my bike. I was, riding regularly. And I happened to ride through the grass one time. And this was before that I really started listening to that sense and said, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that. Well, I was just like, why? Like, why shouldn't I ride through the grass? It doesn't make any sense. There's no logical reason why I shouldn't be able to just ride through the grass like a normal fucking person. We do it all the time. Well, I rode past the mailbox, or I attempted to ride past the mailbox. What I didn't see was that there was a gap where the grass was and where the curb was. And my bike tire got stuck on it. And all I remember is just going like this, and that's it. And then the next thing I know, I am on the ground. Like, I remember feeling myself jolt forward, but like not over the handlebars. And whatever happened to me, I don't know. Because I'm like, the bike is this way, and I'm laying across the road this way. So I'm completely perpendicular to this bike. I felt nothing. And I'm just like sitting there, like laying there in the road, like this, like trying to figure out what the fuck just happened because I don't remember from this to just me laying there like this. No memory of that. And I've taken some tumbles, but never have I ever just completely lost the memory of the process of the tumble. And I felt like I had woken up in the road. But I was wearing a sleeveless shirt, and this was when I was living in Florida. And like the road was hot. The road was hot. But the way I had fallen like this. I didn't even feel like I fell. It was like 1 minute I was on the bike, the next I woke up on the ground. That was it. I didn't feel any impact. My body didn't hurt. I was taking inventory of my body while I was sitting there like that. And I only started to feel the road when I realized that I was laying down. I felt nothing after that. Like, I was just sitting here like, what happened? Like, what happened to me? Why am if I went over the bike like this, how am I laying like this? And I'm sitting here trying to work it out in my head, like, how did this happen? How did I end up laying perpendicular to the bike when I was going this way over the bike? That doesn't make sense. I should be laying with my feet facing the opposite side of the road, not like this. And I should feel like the wind was knocked out of me because I fell on the ground. So I don't feel like the wind is knocked out of me. Like I should at least, like my back should at least hurt a little bit because, I fell on the ground. But I didn't feel any pain. And I only started to feel the road when I just kind of like relaxed and was sitting there trying to figure it out. And I just laid there for a minute trying to figure out what the hell just happened. And I was so confused. I was just like, what the hell just like happened to me? Like, did I leave my body and my body just did whatever? Like, how did I get here? And I didn't hit my head because like my head was just like it I didn't feel nothing. Like my head didn't hurt. I was like, nothing hurts. I'm laying the wrong way for how I was falling. And I'm just sitting here, like trying to work it out. And while I'm trying to fucking figure out what the hell is happening to me, I hear, you need to get up. Because, my mom was just like, you need to get up. I was just like, I don't know what happened. Like, to this day, I don't know what fucking happened. Because I still have no memory of how exactly I ended up the way I did. But that was one of the freaking weirdest things that have happened to me. And there was another instance while I was on this bike where I was just like riding around because we lived in a cul-de-sac at the time. And I was riding around the cul-de-sac, and so yeah, um, there was one time where I was on that same bike, riding around like the neighborhood or whatever, or the little thing, and then like as I'm going up to like the end of the driveway, I see a car, and it's about to turn. Like I saw the turn signal on because it was about to turn. And I was like, oh, it's about to turn, so I can just go through and do that. Because, like, if there was a car coming straight across, then I wouldn't go. And so they had their turn signal on to turn. And so I was like, okay, cool, I'm safe to just, go. Well, they ended up coming across anyway. They had turned off their turn signal, ended up coming across. And then all of a sudden they're like behind me. And like, honestly, if they wanted to, they probably could have actually hit me. But when I noticed that they were like following me around, I made that loop real quick and went right back into like up the driveway. And I was pedaling, and they were like literally right behind me the whole time. And then I rode up on into like one of the flower beds at this house because there was like a thing of flower beds. And when I had stopped in the flower beds, because there was like pillars, they wouldn't have been able to hit me from like the sidewalk in front of the house because there were these giant brick pillars. And as I was like stopped like that and watched them drive, like as they drove up to where my mailbox was and stopped, and I heard them clearly laughing loud, and they had their windows up and they were laughing. And then when I tried to tell anybody what had happened, because there were no witnesses, of course, because I was outside by my damn self, nobody fucking believed it. Nobody fucking believed me. No one fucking believed a damn thing that I just said. And I was just like, no, like, it really happened. They're like, nobody would try to hit you or whatever. What? Like, what? Like, maybe they wouldn't have actually attempted to hit me. But at the same time, like, maybe they would joke around thinking that it was funny to attempt or make it look like they were going to. And yeah, that's why I always have problems with, like, my freaking questioning my own fucking experiences and shit like that, because things like that, like, there were no witnesses. I explained it, and I was freaking panting. That I didn't go outside again that day. I was done after that. I might have even been done riding my bike ever again by myself outside anyways. But yeah, that was some bullshit. Anyways,